Welcome to another quick measurement examples video. So for this one here, we are finding the value of the pronumeral for these basic shapes to do decimal places where needed. So what's happened with these ones is if we look at our first one, we've got a rectangle. We've been given the area in this center part here. We've been given the length here, and then actually that one will be the width since they've used L here. Okay, so we've only been given part of this. So if we remember, area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay, now we've been given that area, which is 11. Okay, we haven't been given our length, but we've been given our width of 2.3. So now we've got to solve to get our L. So if you remember, we need to go here, divide by 2.3 on both sides. Okay, and that cancels those guys out. What we end up with is L equals, and then 11 divided by 2.3 gives us 4.7826, and so on. And then it's set to two decimal places. So here we go, 4.78, and then it will be millimeters. Okay, so a bit of reverse engineering there. So you've got to use a bit of your solving skills that we've done in the past. So the biggest thing for a lot of you will be just identifying what shape it is and what formula you need to use. So here, this one's a trapezium. Okay, so same thing again, we've been given the area, we've given two of the sides and not the other. Okay, so if you remember, area of a trapezium is half times A plus B in brackets and then times our height. Okay, so our area is 0.5. So we've got half times A, we haven't been given. Now we have been given B here, which is 1.3. And we've been given our height of 0.4. Okay, now what I'm going to try and do here now is simplify some of this to save me an extra step. So I can't do much with my 0.5 yet. But what I can do is deal with this half and this 0.4. And I can multiply them together. So half times 0.4 gives me 0.2. Okay, so now I've got 0.2 times my A plus 1.3. So now we can do our solving. So here I can now get rid of this 0.2 by dividing by it, okay? So that cancels out there again. And 0.5 divided by 0.2 gives me 2.5. Okay, so that equals A plus 1.3. And our last step is to get rid of this 1.3 by subtracting it because it's a positive, right? So that goes bye-bye. And then we have 2.5 take away 1.3. And we have now got A equals 1.2. And then we were in meters. So that's how you do it on with these straightforward shapes. Now, let's look at some circles where it is a little bit harder to do. So here, we've got this circle and we're needing to find the radius. Okay, so if you remember, area of a circle is pi times our radius squared. So one thing you need to know is that to get rid of a square, so get rid of that little 2, is we use a square root to cancel it out. Alright, so let's substitute in what we know. We know our area is 6, we know pi, but we don't know our radius. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I need to get rid of pi. So I'm going to divide by pi. Okay, so we go 6 divided by pi. This is going to get maybe a little messy, but that's okay. So now I've got 1.900, except for I've got to check my rounding, so it's going to be 910. I'm going to go to 3 decimal places for a start, and then I can round later. Equals r squared. Now to get rid of that squared, I'm going to square root both of our sides. Okay, so r equals, and then if I go square root of 1.910, I get 1.380 and so on. But we want to 2 decimal places, so r equals 1.38, and then I'm working in centimeters. Now, because we're not finding the area, it's already been found, we don't need to add that squared. So that's when we've been given the radius. Now, when we're looking for the radius. Now we look at one where we're looking for the diameter. So we follow the same process as the previous one, but at the end we've just got to double our answer. So we start with E equals pi times our radius squared. So our area is 12. Pi times r squared. Okay, divide by that pi. Alright, that cancels out there. So now I've got 12 divided by pi equals 3.820 equals r squared. Okay, I square root because that cancels out there. Okay, but don't forget you got to do the other side. So then we end up with r equals, now the square root of 3.820 is 1.9544 and so on. Now 2 decimal places equals 1.95. But to get to the diameter, I go times 2. So D equals 3.91. Okay, so then, bam, we've done it, and just double check our units. We were working in meters. And that is how we reverse engineer